White Bird in a Blizzard is generally about a young woman whose mother disappears, and it sort of follows her life when she's in high school and cuts to her when she's in college as well. And the development of who she is and how she becomes a woman without her mother around, and the mystery of trying to figure out where her mother went and what happened to her, while also dealing with her own coming of age, her own personal coming of age story, which is always very unique to every individual. But one thing that I love most about it is that because she doesn't have a mother, I think that she tries to express herself in very sexual ways to access that feminine side of herself. But in doing so, she loses a little bit of maybe the bigger picture, and she ends up becoming more similar to her parents than she ultimately anticipated in the beginning. Working with Gregg Araki was one of the most incredible experiences that I've had in this industry. I first saw his movie Mysterious Skin years ago, and I remember being blown away by Joseph Gordon-Levitt's performance and by the intensity of the film and the truth of the film, and it was so raw and real, and it's very rare that I feel filmmakers go to that place and allow that much truth to be exposed on screen. And so from that moment I was like, I have to work with this man, I would love to work with this man. And then this script came along, and the actual experience of working with him was such a treat. I mean, we would show up to set, and the most amazing thing about Gregg is he knows exactly what he wants. And so you're not there trying to guess what he wants or what the movie is or what it's about or how it's going to be cut together. His script is so profound and so poetically written, and his own idea and image in his head is so direct that you sort of have the freedom to play in your character, but yet you're not constantly wondering if you're doing the right thing or not, which as an actor is so much fun. And it's also so nice to have the trust in a director, because sometimes you don't feel like you are trusted. And with Gregg, he chose you for a reason. And so once everything he does is very deliberate. Everything from the set design to the actors he chooses to the words that he puts on the paper to the music that he puts in the final product, that once he chooses the right ingredient, then he lets us all sort of just mix together and blend together in a way that feels natural and organic. And then if he sees that it's sort of going off on the wrong path, he'll slightly move us back onto the right trajectory. But it was really special. So it's interesting. I mean, the story does take place in 1988, and I was not alive during that time. But Gregg knew that time so well, and I think that was a really important time in his own personal life. And because of that, he was able to, he would send us videos about different like goth dance scenes or different punk sort of grunge dance clubs, and sent us music to get our, music is it sets a tone for so much, right? And so even though I wasn't alive in 1988, just hearing early Nine Inch Nails and Cocteau Twins and certain specific bands sort of elicits this emotion, because it doesn't matter really, I think, when you're born. It's more about relating to the tone of that era. And so once you put on the Doc Martens and once you put on Cocteau Twins and you have this set that's so specifically designed to be very realistic to that time era, for me, that's sort of what allowed me to experience Cat in that time frame. But at the end of the day, every emotion is the same. Whether you're born in '88 or 2014, we're all human beings and we all elicit the same emotions. It's more of the external experience, I think, that's determined by the location or the time. The cast ensemble is incredible in this film. Every single person brought so much to the table and so completely embodied their characters. Working with Chris Maloney it was amazing. I mean, first off, you never see Chris Maloney in this very vulnerable, sort of broken state. He's sort of known for being the strong man, and so to see him in a very character-based role throws you off kilter immediately. And then to have him be sort of so sterile in a way, playing a father, was so much fun. And he gives you so much as an actor, and he's also so dedicated to his character. I just remember one day we were doing a scene, and we were out in a parking lot, and he was walking to the car, and the way that he would walk was such a strong choice. He wasn't just walking like you would normally walk. He walked in a very slow fashion, and with his hands sort of straight and his legs very straight. And I remember thinking, as an actor, that's such an interesting choice to do that. And also now seeing it on the screen, it really affects the way that the audience, immediately interprets his character. Our physicality immediately give somebody else a judgment, right? What we do and an assumption. And so I learned a lot from him in that way. And then Ava Green was incredible. I mean, I didn't get to work with her very often because she wasn't in the movie that much because she disappears. And when we did get to work together, she embodied a very different character than what you normally see her as. I mean, Ava's, I think, 10 years older than me in real life, and she's playing my mother. And so she put on a wig, and they sort of aged her face in a way, and she's this gorgeous, gorgeous woman. But to see her sort of in this broken down, older fashion immediately elicits different emotions than if you just saw a beautiful Ava Green walking into a room. I mean, one thing that is really nice about doing a movie that's based on a novel is the novel sort of fills in the blanks in a way, you know? So you have a script, and if the script hasn't been altered in big ways from the original piece of work, then the novel fills in the gaps that maybe the script doesn't have. But it's fun. It's fun to do, I guess, movies based on books.